I didn't actually meet R.C. until well into the late 90s.
Was it first speaking at a Ligonier conference?
Yes. Yeah. And Chosen by God was a definitive response to the whole issue of free will and the allegations of determinism, an understanding of election by a man who had really, really studied the Arminian Calvinist debate, had actually been perhaps in his doctoral work at the very heart of where some of these debates took place in Holland. A man who studied and learned Dutch. But he was just an author and a speaker to me in the 80s. And then I met him in the late 90s, early 2000. And my sort of first formal meeting with him was at a Seattle conference. And he and Vester were there. I was nervous. I didn't know what to expect. And I met this tender, warm, funny man who loved dogs. And we sort of bonded immediately.
Yeah. Especially big dogs.
I mean, there are scholars, and R.C. was a towering scholar. I mean, he's one of the great scholars of the 20th century.
Yeah. There's no matter what the subject was, there were very few subjects that brought up that.
But he didn't make you feel dumb.
Yeah.
He had a way of carrying his scholarship very lightly, and only employing it when he saw an argument seriously going astray. Yeah. And then all of a sudden this information would come out of his head, and you'd think, where did that come from? And I think he had a photographic memory, and recall about pages in books and sentences in books. That if you have that facility, it's disarming, to be sure.
You know, when we recorded some of these open books with him, I'd sit there. I'd have the advantage of having the book in front of me. He didn't have the book in front of him. He knew exactly what was on the page that I was looking at.
Yeah.
So I think you're right. Once he engaged it, it stayed with him.
I remember, we're talking about Chosen by God, but I remember him making fine distinctions in the sort of Calvinist Arminian debate that, frankly, I didn't think anybody made anymore. That he was completely on top of details of the Synod of Dort.
Maybe he had just talked to Godfrey.
And who said what, you know?
Right.
Yeah.